Okay, today is day 369. This is kind of an odd video because it's just me out here working. Today what I did is, since we had all the wheels and all that stuff taken off to drop the rear suspension, I wanted to get the brakes off so we can clean and redo those, like the front, because remember we did those in red, but we never did the back wheels for some reason. So we had to get those done. So I took off the old rotors. And they're sitting over. All right, first took off the brake calipers. So that's the driver one. That's the passenger one. And the brake plates at the back. And took off both rotors. Those are sitting over there. And I put brand new rotors on. And it spins all right. This side spins way better, but it was a challenge with those drum brakes in there. When you take the rotor off, there's these two springs in there that are super hard to get back in once you pop them out. Like, because once you pull this thing off, there's two springs that are holding the actual drum. I don't know what you call it, piston to the actual the actual just like arm, and you have to like push them in there and turn them. It's not ideal. It took a long time, and working on brakes like this is disgusting and dirty. The floor is all disgusting. My shirt is all disgusting. So that was a challenge. And then I also did the other side. Same thing on the side. And yep, I worked with this much room because we can't move the car right now because it's on jacks and it's just me. But I did the exact same thing on the other side. And that one, I don't know if you can hear that on camera, but when you spit it, you can hear a alright when it goes around. So there's definitely something hitting in there. I don't know if it's just because I didn't grease it or if I'm doing something really stupid, but I'm going to end it here tonight. But that's what I did today. Day 369.
Alright, buddy. What day is it?
Today is day 429. We kind of had a 428 and 429 kind of day pair. We did some work yesterday, did some work today. Our main thing was to get the brakes rebuilt. To do that, we had to keep working on cleaning and sanding them. And we did. We started cleaning and sanding, and we put on three coats of primer and paint, and now they're sitting here drying. So they look pretty good. We painted them same red as we painted the front ones. Remember, we did the front ones, but we didn't do the back ones for some reason. Looking in hindsight, we probably should have done all of them at the same time, but we didn't. So we got those painted, and they're still waiting. We have to wait 48 hours to put on a clear coat, so by next weekend we should have those fully done and built, which would be good. And then before we put them back on, I don't really want to put them back on the car until, like, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to clean the underside of the car, and I don't want to put those brakes on there, and I don't know, we probably could do it, but I don't want to. So what we're trying to do is get the suspension up so we can get the wheels on so we can roll the car out and clean the whole underside of this because it's disgusting. It made me sick. So yeah, that was today. We got the suspension kind of up there, and then we realized we went kind of too far in the wrong direction.
So we worked for a long time to try to get these suspension arms in there, and we managed to get this one in. We started working on the other one. This one was really, I mean, we worked for a long time on that, but then we're realizing is that this little wing up here is not seated and it needs to go forward, and now we're realizing I don't think you can do that after the fact. So now we think we need to undo this work, take this bolt out, lower that, put this in first, then jack up the main suspension arms so that they fall into place, and that's what we're thinking. So it's kind of frustrating, I guess, knowing that we have to undo some of our work. But, you know, if you don't want to be frustrated, don't work on a car project.
That's true.
Yep. All right, man. We'll just keep working on it, and hopefully we'll get to make some progress next weekend. All right, buddy. What day is today?
Today is day 449, and we had another day of sitting under the car, working on the back. Last time...
The rear suspension.
Yeah, yeah. Last time we put the rear suspension in first with those bolts. We first lined it up, and then we tried to put those bolts in through first. It's right there, that bolt.
And we did. We got the bolt in.
Yeah, and then we went up here where there's this mount, and this thing was not even...
Was not in.
It was on the opposite side of Earth. It wasn't even close to going in. So we're like, well, I think we need to put that one in first, and it had already been like 4 hours.
We worked on it for a while, but when we realized,
yeah,
just with the leverage, this has to kind of go into a slot first, and then you have to lift this in. So
we decided to cut it off there, and we'd come back fresh, and it's been 2 weeks since because we don't want to work on this thing. And we took those bolts out. And
pulled it down.
Yeah, we have a story about those, but we pulled the suspension down, and then we slotted this one into the slot and got this bolt in, and then there's 2 bolts right here that slide in right here. And if you see this big L, you have to get a socket in here
with an extension.
And then you got to get it out, and getting it out was not fun. This is all chipped right here because we had to hammer our socket out of the... It was fun. And then... those big bolts, we were putting, just to keep the 2 washers on there, we were putting the nut on the other side, and we're like, wow, this doesn't screw in all the way. It like screws in a little bit, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it felt like maybe it was rusty or something.
So we took the impact drill, and we screwed that nut to hell through that thing to try.
Well, we started trying to like tighten and loosen to rework the threads, and we tightened it, and we went to loosen it, and it wasn't coming off. And then we got a bigger wrench and a bigger wrench and a bigger wrench. Then
those
eventually,
bolts, okay, that bolt was on there. We're like, okay, we think it's on there pretty good. We're gonna try and take it off. We tried to take it off, and we put the bolt in between here, and we were trying to unscrew it, and it broke the vise.
yeah, it snapped our vise.
It broke.
It's a little vise. It's small, but when we put that big breaker bar on it and turned that bolt on that nut, it broke the vise. So we have at least one bolt and nut that's no good, so we know we have to order some more. In fact, I had to cut the nut off.
That was fun.
So anyway, we got to buy some more bolts for the rear suspension. But we have bolts in there now, so it's at least held on. So if we want to lower it on the wheels and roll it out the driveway, but you know we've got to buy new bolts before it's not to make it roadworthy. Yeah.
Let's see. Those are the only bolts that need working on. All the other bolts are in there and torqued down, including the shock ones. So.
Oh yeah, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, the only things we need to do is get those 2 bolts, 2 new bolts in there with the nut on the other side, torque them down, and then the rear suspension is completely done, and that's like fully drivable. For now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put the wheels on, roll this car out, and then clean all this under here and get the fuel filter and the fuel lines and all that stuff that we don't need anymore out, and then clean it, because I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of work back here, and I don't want to get sick every time we come down here because this thing is
there's a lot of
disgusting.
Black grime under there, yeah.
But other than that, just got to get the wheels on, get it off the jack stands, roll it out, and then when we clean the car, we have to clean the floor because this floor has been traumatized.
Yeah, and ultimately, once we get to like a clean environment, I got some old pieces of carpet right here. So once the bottom of the car is kind of clean and we're, working on batteries and motors and stuff and not dealing with dirty stuff, I think we're going to unroll this used carpet underneath there so we have like a soft place to lay down and work. As long as we can keep it out of the way of the jacks and stuff. So we'll see. I don't know if that'll work out well or not. Anything else? What are we doing tonight? Playing Zelda.
At the time this video was coming out, the game came out like a week ago. Or no, sorry, at the time this is being filmed.
Which game? Zelda?
Tears of the Kingdom came out a week ago.
Okay.
And then by the time this video comes out, it might be God knows when.
Yeah.
A few months after. But today is like May something, so we're gonna play that tonight on our new couch and have a relaxing night, knowing that our suspension is finally 99% done.
All right, good job, bud.